All right, we are back. It is the Built by Vitality podcast. I am with my well-read, well-rehearsed, well-studied partner in crime, Philip Lewis. My name is Steve Pinkerton, and today we're going to take you on a journey. We're going to talk about a podcast, it's a podcast, the Impulsive podcast that Liver King was on. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but then we're going to apply it to some advice for those of you that are starting a podcast or starting a brand or trying to get a following. We're going to use how I think the Liver King has done, and then we're going to kind of review this most recent podcast, which completely kind of blew my mind, and then we'll talk about why, so that you don't make some of the same mistakes that I think he made. Now, I'll preface this by saying Liver King has, 600,000 followers more than us. So he's doing something right.
Yep.
But when we all kind of saw it, and I say we all, most people in the fitness world had someone tell them, "Hey man, there's this crazy dude eating raw liver on Instagram. You should follow him and check him out. And he's always doing crazy stuff." So the first couple of times we were like, "Oh, that's cool, that's funny."
Yeah.
And then he was the guy that I think he also ate 50 egg whites, like
something crazy. Yeah.
Had them in like little Dixie
shot
cups. Yeah, little shots of. It was egg yolk. It was it was eggs. He cracked an egg 50 times and just went right down the line. And I started to think like, man, I don't know that his message is going to resonate with more than like 0.25% of the world. Like, yes, is it, is it a circus trick? Is he kind of a clown? Sure. But no one's going to go and do the things that he's asking because it's too extreme. It's too much.
Yeah.
I look at it like, man, let's say we got 500 members in here. We show them this video. We show Liver King. We talk about, have him come do a spiel. About, 2 people are going to be like, okay, I'll try it. And they'll last 10 days.
Kind of like when I tried the liver.
Sure, like when you tried the liver.
If you haven't seen that, watch that episode.
Yeah, yep. So again, I'll use this as an example because it was interesting because on Instagram, he was one person. His videos, he was one kind of a different person. Then I had never seen him do a live podcast. And Logan Paul, Jake Paul, if you know those guys, they have a podcast called Impulsive. I've actually never watched it other than when they had Liver King on. I think it was like 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. But I saw it pop up on YouTube, and I was like, I'll watch the first 4 or 5 minutes. And, well, first of all, he's got no shirt on, which, look, I get it, man. He's 5'8", and he's jacked.
Yeah.
I got it, okay? But it's like, it gets kind of annoying, like he's always got a shirt. Like he's walking around.
Doesn't matter what he's
public.
doing, it's always,
yeah, it's just a little, and I get it, you're in your character, whatever. I got you. But then I listened to him, and man, he must have said the F word, 40 times in the first 3 minutes of the
really?
podcast.
Dang.
And it was so much. He said it in such a weird repeatability. Like I couldn't wrap my head around it because I had never heard him swear. Now, don't get me wrong.
I don't think I've ever heard him say that on his Instagram ever.
Never once.
But he did on the podcast.
2,000 times. And my point to that is not saying that you can't use profanity in your podcast or when you're building your brand or you're starting your following on whatever these social media platforms are. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you better have a plan of who's listening and you better be authentic. So the first thing I said is, if you're going to do this, be authentic, be you, don't be a chameleon. And the first thing I thought about when I watched that was, man, that dude is a chameleon. All he's trying to do is he's just going to he's going to adapt his personality to whoever he sits around with. So if he's with Jake and Logan Paul and he thinks that they're going to swear a lot or whatever, then he's going to swear a lot. He's going to change. But the problem is this: he's established himself in a certain way on his social media. Now, when he comes out and does that, it's completely off.
Yeah.
You're completely changing. It would be like our podcast. Like, we've made it a point, because I want to be able to, for people that are listening, I want to be able to listen at home, in the car. They don't have to they don't have to worry about who's with them.
Yeah.
That we're not super offensive, I don't think, but we don't curse.
Yeah.
Now, do we curse in real life? Sure, we do. You don't.
I don't.
Yes, you do. But we're also careful about when you do it and who you do it around.
You gotta be. Yeah.
You just gotta be smart, man. Yeah. And I was watching this, and man, it was really crazy, really crazy. So I think he changed a little bit, and his approach, his delivery was way more aggressive too. Where when he talks about his, and for those who don't know, Liver King is a guy by the name of Brian Johnson, but he does not ever refer to himself as Brian Johnson. He only refers to himself as Liver King, which, again, it's quirky. I get it, branding, whatever, cool. But then he's got Liver Queen and Liver Boys, and it's that's kind of weird. That's just those. I mean, those kids are gonna get beat up a lot.
How many kids you got? I got 2 Liver Boys.
I got 2 Liver Boys. Stop, man. Let the kids be kids and not be pulled. What are you
pulled into your thing?
Yeah, you're like Batman too many times or something. So I'm watching this, and what he does is he's big on liver. He talks about liver being king. Liver is the most important nutrient that you can have, and he talks about why would anybody eat vegetables? It's the dumbest thing in the world. You should be eating liver, kidney, heart, and you should be eating them from predators like elk, bison, moose. These aggressive animals. And look, the message, he's a smart guy. It resonates well. And the other thing is, the second point I wanted to make was, educate yourself on what the platform is you want. And he's done a great job. He understands what he believes in, and he can articulate it very well.
And I think he owns his own farm, right? Where he tells people to get all this stuff, then they can actually buy it from him.
Yeah.
Correct?
He's got a supplement company.
Or something,
He lives on, I think he's got a 500-acre farm down in Texas. But the way that he spoke and the way that he delivered it, it was very aggressive in the way you're such an idiot for thinking that vegetables are going to fix anything.
Yeah.
And it's okay, well, pump the brakes a second, Liver King. First of all, think about it this way. How hard was it to get people to understand the keto diet?
Oh my gosh.
It's very difficult to get people to come on board with that and understand the science behind it, the mechanism behind it, and how to switch from your body burning sugar and carbs to it burning fat for fuel. That is a very hard concept. Go tell your parents, if you don't believe me, go tell your parents that, fat doesn't make you fat.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Decades and decades and decades of brainwashing that these, that our parents have been under, and then you want to reverse that. Well, now take even a more universal truth and try and tell people that vegetables are pointless and you should go eat raw liver, testicle, kidney, and you wonder why people
50 raw eggs.
Yeah, and I think what happens is they see someone like that, they're not following what he's doing. They just want to see him do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
It's pure entertainment.
Yeah, I would never do hardly anything.
No one's going to go out and get a bunch of raw testicle and eat it.
No, I'm going to go to Zaxby's and I'm going to watch him do it. I'm not going to
Exactly.
I'm not picking that.
So, my next point is appeal to the masses, and you're trying or be really, really targeted with the niche market that you're trying to go to. And I don't think he's doing either of those things. I don't think he's appealing to the masses.
Entertainment.
He's entertainment. And he's certainly the niche market is not big. There are not enough people that are willing to go eat raw testicle that are going to join his.
I was thinking about that too. Him doing that when he first started getting really popular. I would see a lot of TikTok videos and all these different things of people doing that stuff. And they're like, "Oh, I've been doing this forever." He just made it's entertainment. He got big doing it and promoted it the right way, but there's still not enough. There's not like say there's 1 million people out of 1 million, what's 10,000 doing it? Like you don't even.
We've been in the fitness industry I've been doing this 13 years. I know of nobody that's eating this stuff. Now, what I will do, what he did do, and this was good. He got me thinking about it, and I'm like, man, why not create a scenario to where it's more sustainable? Because it's not sustainable for me to
eat raw stuff every morning,
stuff in the mornings,
or ever.
What is sustainable is I found a farm in Texas, not his, or actually Corey Cooper found it for me and was telling me about it, and it has meat that's ground up that has organ meat ground up in it. That to me, now I cook it and I eat it. So I cannot tell the difference, truly cannot tell the difference. And they also do that with chicken. So there's chicken with like the chicken liver, heart, and a couple other parts of the animal in there. And then they do the beef, and they do beef, heart, liver, kidney. And they'll grind it up, and it's like ground hamburger. And I get it shipped to me, and it's no more expensive than
at the store.
Than at the store. And this is how old I am. I do this. I order from them every 2 weeks, and right now I cannot think of the name of this company. It's most.
All right.
Is that the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? I order from them twice a week. Force of Nature. I mean, seriously, what is wrong with me?
Must be all that stuff in there messing with your mind.
I need some testicle. That's what I need.
Gosh.
And so that got me thinking that way. So yes, he did. He got me to a point where, man, now I can do this on my terms. It is sustainable. It's not something that I'm going to ever force my kids to do. Wouldn't raw stuff like that.
It's kind of like when you went out of town and you forgot you had some things still meal prepped in the kitchen here. You're like, you and Nate can grab you some of that.
Yeah, how'd it go?
I didn't.
You had a chicken.
I went and got my other stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't smell good?
It smelled funny.
Okay.
It might taste the same, but it had a different smell.
It had a different smell. The chicken's a little aggressive. Not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But, I come back to that, and we talk about appealing to the masses. He is a strict entertainer. That's the point. He's not, and his mission is, and he's very passionate about it. His mission is, I want to improve people's lives. His mission is,
make you healthier.
There's a lot of weak men out there, and they need to take ownership of their situation. And I get that. And I don't disagree. There are a lot of males out there that
need some more testosterone.
Just need to get off the couch. I get it. But when you go to an extreme, one of the things we tell people in here, you can't go from 0 to 1 million. You got to work your way up.
I can't come in here and turn into Spencer next week.
No. And now you're asking someone that has no discipline whatsoever to go source all this raw stuff, prep it in a way that they, it just doesn't make. No one's doing this.
You can get the raw stuff, and once you put the
maple syrup and
put syrup on there,
salt or
the
something.
sugar-free syrup,
whatever it is. And so it's just, I was listening to him in the way that he spoke. The vegetable thing really got, kind of. It'd be similar to me saying, "Oh, you think
water hydrates you?
You think running is good? You're an idiot." And it's like, man, listen, running is one of the most popular things that people do.
It's like,
now, do I think it's beneficial? I don't. Do I think marathons are doing good for our population? I don't. But I don't think it's so crazy that I'm going to call everybody idiots to think that. And it's just, they don't know any better. They just don't know. Yeah. It'd be like me saying, you shouldn't run. You should hang upside down from your rafters by your feet for 8 minutes a day or something
with your mouth
completely ridiculous that doesn't, and that's what you're not going to get people over there. Maybe if you said, hey, here's what I think you should do. Here's some recipes for liver. Here's where you can get your liver source from.
Let's start by cooking it, and this is the way I work my way up to it.
Let's cook it and add it to some different meats.
What you already eat.
Yes. So again, I'm not telling Liver King how to do it because he's obviously got a huge following. He makes a ton of money. My point is, most people are not going to be able to get away with the same mistakes that he's made. He also has a private chef and, whatever. I mean, there's things that just don't add up that I think are kind of breaking some of the rules of branding that he gets away with because of who he is and because of how extreme his message is. But the reality is, yes, are there going to be a small percentage of people that are going to take what he says and make those changes? Sure. But those people, to do what he's doing, are already so disciplined, they were just waiting for something. Whether that's going to be the Jocko stuff where they're going to go and do some of his stuff, or it's going to be Liver King. They're looking for something to attach themselves to, and they were going to make that change no matter what. He's never going to reach the average guy that's just sitting around, doing whatever, Understanding the logistics of your listeners, we already touched on this a little bit, but I'm sitting there and I want to just have it playing in the background, but I can't because I got my girls with me. Yeah. They're coming up and down the stairs, whatever, doing gymnastics in my living room.
He's dropping F-bombs.
And every other word is the F-bomb. And it's like, gosh, dang it, man. Understand how this works. Understand that very rarely are people going to be able to listen in complete solidarity.
Yeah.
You're always around people. If you have kids, and he should know it. I mean, obviously he has no concept of it, because here's the thing. If that's how he talks on that podcast, he obviously must talk like that all the time. Yeah. All the time.
You can't just add that in.
No.
Like if I never do that, and then I go somewhere where they're doing a lot of it, I don't just automatically start cussing like I'm a pro.
Yeah.
Like you just...
And it wasn't
you either do that or you don't.
It was really weird. But again, kids are everywhere, and this will go. There's a lot of people trying to build a brand on Instagram. Understand that you're not going to be 18 to 25 forever, which means the pictures you post will be there forever. And some people need to maybe not post some of the things that they're posting. They're a little at some point you're going to have a teenage girl that's good. I say as like people that are posting this, and they're going to look back and say, hey, Mom, what was that all about?
What was that selfie you posted on vacation?
And then guess what they're going to do?
They're going to do the same thing.
And you're going to be mad at them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think understanding the logistics of how this works and how dangerous social media can be. And we've all seen, first of all, everybody has seen somebody get beat up on social media for making something that they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And they get, ostracized. You are banished from the island.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that people have to be aware of. We didn't have that when we were kids.
No.
We didn't have to worry about, we could say things, but we said things
to the person, and then that person got mad or whatever, and then it just kind of went away because we have short-term memories. You see a post I've seen it before, there's some guy that said social media turned people into like saying whatever they want and not getting punched in the mouth for it, like that, whatever.
And even more than that, I think it's just
talk junk, and you can bully people, and you can shun people.
It makes people too sensitive too, because people post things on Instagram and they want to see the comments. They want to see what people are writing. They read the comments. Mm-hmm. So now, not only are you spending all this time posting pictures, but you're reading comments. And I thought it was funny, because his big thing, Liver King's big thing is everything's grounded, and he doesn't, there's no, Wi-Fi, all electronic waves, whatever this stuff is that's going through houses that have Wi-Fi and that type of, you know. But my thing is, okay, how much time are you standing in front of your phone and camera answering?
You got to upload that stuff.
Yeah,
video it. And that's a lot of work.
And I think it's just, you know, and here's the other thing. I don't love when people drag kids and their families into their brand and they try to appeal to people that way. I think it's unfair for those kids because now you got your kids involved. They're not old enough to make those decisions on what they want to be a part of or what they don't want to be a part of. And I would love in 10 years to see, you know, are these kids going to live the same way that their dad does? I don't know. We'll see. But now everyone's going to wonder that. Now they're going to be under a spotlight.
Where's his kids doing now? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's understanding the logistics of it, understanding that, you know, you want this to be something that people can listen to, whether they're in the car, whether they're on their way, you know, because a lot of times, you know, shoot, I spend my life in a vehicle on weekends going to volleyball tournaments. It'd be nice. Some of the podcasts I like to listen to.
I like to put a hidden camera in there.
Hey, you know what? I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I'm pretty good. I don't, I would say the over-under is, you know, 2 temper tantrums a weekend. Okay. You know, one of them's guaranteed the way home on I-85. That's just the way it is. But, you know, I can't listen to a lot of those podcasts. You know what podcast I end up listening to? Ours. You know, Jess will be like, oh, let's listen to your podcast. I'm like, okay, well, I already kind of know what I'm going to say, but okay.
I don't know, the top 5 movie one. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah, that was.
You didn't know what to expect when you pulled that one out.
I had no expectations.
I gave you a good ride home, something to listen to.
Now, again, like I said, I'm not telling you guys that we have all the answers for, you know, this building a brand. We've done it.
I think we do, but here's the problem. We're trying to do it without doing what everybody else does. We're trying to do it without selling sex or selling something extreme.
I agree.
I think we do.
I agree.
But we're not just sticking to that one and just like, screw it, man. Who cares what people think?
Yeah, and I think that's tough because if you just look on Instagram, you look at people that have the highest number of followers, sex sells. It does.
Example, a little video that I'd done a month or two ago. That little that Charlie saw.
And Charlie told me about.
Well,
Daddy,
we'll talk about that.
Why is Philip videoing? Is that his girlfriend?
Wait a minute.
Okay, continue.
Out of everything I post on my social media, I love taking photos, doing video. I don't care what it is. I just like that.
Yeah.
That's the one people still talk about.
I know.
That one had the most shares, the most likes, the most comments, the most reposts. People talked about it today to me. I know. And it was a month or two ago.
I know. And
I said, why does it have to be like that? Why didn't you talk about the one I did of a race car?
I know.
It was just as good.
I know. And
but they remember the other one.
You wonder, that's the draw of social media for people is. But here's the other thing. Here's to come full circle with this. If I would have never watched that episode of Impulsive with Liver King, my view on Liver King, which who cares? He doesn't care. I don't care what people think. He doesn't care what Steve Pickerton thinks. I get it. And he shouldn't care. But he was basically, in my mind, pretending to be somebody else. I got to see what he really is like on this live broadcast. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're forgetting. We're seeing these social media posts and we're imagining what that life is, not fully understanding that it has nothing to do with what we see. Nothing. It is completely different. You know, and I think if we knew that, if we would all just take a step back and say, man, why am I jealous of this person on Instagram who has 1 million followers?
Yeah.
You know, in reality, I'm 10 times happier being off social media. And I'll pull up Facebook, I don't know, a couple minutes a week, I'll get on there and just scroll through. I'll see. Most of the time, I use the excuse of, hey, I want to see what the deal is with jiu-jitsu this week.
Yeah.
And I'll get on Instagram, but it's probably legitimately 15 minutes or less a week. I am way happier than, because every spare second that I had, I was grabbing my phone.
And checking stuff out.
Checking stuff. Now, I don't take my phone with me half the places that I go. I don't need it. But people are so obsessed with it. They get so attached to it. It's weird. And I guess I get it. If all I'm looking at on social media, if I'm a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid, I'd love to see what those guys are looking at. Yeah. I mean, they can follow 1,000 different females that are posting all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's, and then the young girls are watching these older girls and what they're doing and what they're posting about. I want to do that
when I get older.
And that's what they want to do. And then it just is this vicious cycle that it'll never stop. So, okay, the last one is consistency. This is one where we have done more 100% perfect. We have said, hey, we're going to post a new podcast every Monday, and we're on episode 90-something, and we've never missed. 90 weeks, never missed. And I always get frustrated when I see people that try to roll things out that say, hey, every
Tuesday we have a special.
Yeah. And they last like 3 Tuesdays.
3 Tuesdays.
Like,
Well, the problem is you have people that show up that fourth Tuesday wanting the special.
Yep.
Oh, we got busy. That's
that's the best part is when you're supposed to do something, you say, oh, hey, sorry, guys, life got in the way, whatever. Listen, I don't care.
They don't care about that. They want what you said.
You said you're going to have this, so you have it. And if you can't deliver, then don't do it. Then, and I think that's one of the things that there's been a ton of weeks where like, man, I don't know if we got a topic this week.
I always have a topic.
Well, yeah. I don't know if we have a topic that people want to listen to this week. And, we just, hey, so what? We'll sit down and we'll talk about it and we'll figure it out. There's been times where we haven't had time to do it and we just had to make time. It's not always been convenient for us.
We don't have like our entire Thursday blocked off to where like, hey, man, Thursday, 8 a.m., 8 p.m., podcast.
Yep, we're gonna plan it.
That's it.
We're gonna
we plan it. We storyboard it. We eat lunch.
Fun that would be?
Man, it'd be good. It would actually be.
But still, we met for breakfast and had like a pre-planning meeting.
We go to like toast.
Then we go to lunch and have like a final notes kind of prep.
Yeah, we just redo it.
And then we go through it too.
Finish it.
And we chop it up.
Edit that afternoon. Done.
Oh man,
what'd you do today? Podcast and food.
Podcast day.
Man, it's like Joe Rogan.
But again, it's just something that you've got to be consistent. I would say if you're starting a podcast or if you want to start to build a brand, then preload 5 to 7 episodes or 6 to 10 posts that you can pre-record, template out, and hold on to them so that when life gets in the way, you can always just grab it and plug it in.
And don't ever say a date. Usually don't say dates or days or numbers or anything like that associated with that episode or whatever it is, because you might have to flip-flop stuff around or whatever.
Yeah. And I think if you want to get a feel for what I'm talking about, then go watch the Impulsive podcast with Liver King. If you just type in YouTube, Liver King podcast, it'll pop up.
If you don't know who Liver King is, before you watch that podcast, go to his social media, his Instagram, YouTube, whatever, and watch all of his stuff, watch how he talks, watch how he does his videos, then watch that podcast, and you can see the different. Yeah. It's in the person you see.
You'll see a different person in there, and that's what you don't want to get into is having multiple personalities where you're trying to appeal to different people. When we sit down and talk to people and we interview guests, Phil and I are exactly the same. We don't change how we are based on who's sitting next to us. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if that person has a different set of beliefs, all of a sudden I'm not going to jump onto the bandwagon just because that person, we're afraid to say certain things. I think that's the idea is your convictions are your convictions, and that's your message, and you can't muddy the waters with that because you're trying to fit in with somebody. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. So again, I think as podcasting gets bigger and social media gets bigger and you get more of a presence and people want to keep building this brand, there's got to be careful what the brand is they're trying to build, and understand you better define what that is and what it looks like and who you're appealing to. Because if you start down one path, it's hard, because then that path attracts a certain demographic of listener. If all of a sudden you switch, man, now those listeners you got already are like, wait a second, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So you end up kind of confusing people. That brand confusion is a real thing. So anyway, and I don't know if I'd recommend talking about yourself in the third person a lot. Like,
no.
You can still have a name. You don't have to be, Liver King all the time. And it was a very weird explanation of, like, when someone said, "Oh, well, you're Brian Johnson," and he's like, "Oh, no, Brian Johnson's dead. I'm only Liver King."
Oh my gosh! Come on, man. No, you're Brian.
No, you
show me your birth certificate. Show me your driver's license.
Yeah.
Hey, sir, the reason I pulled you over, you're speeding a little bit. Let me see your license. Liver King.
Yeah.
Address 101 Liver King Street.
Yeah.
No, okay. Like, it's still going to say Brian.
Yeah. So anyway, I've changed my tune quite a bit over the last, I think he's only been on social media like 7 months. But I don't know. The guy's an idiot. That's just
starting a podcast with that.
That's just my thought. And I'm sure, look, like I said, he doesn't care what I think, and I'm sure there's people that are like, man, Steve and Phil, those guys are idiots. Or maybe it's just Steve. Steve's an idiot. And look, that's fine.
That's usually what I get when people in the gym talk about our podcast. Man, this Steve guy.
Yeah, he's kind of an idiot. Yeah. But I am who I am. I think Phil will be the first one to tell you, on camera, off camera, I'm exactly the same. I am not different.
He's just less aggressive in the podcast room.
You think?
Yeah.
Really?
Compared to jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
This
leads me into my next thing. We got to get Steve back on here. Can we do that?
We just got to ask him. I'm sure he will.
I'm pretty sure.
He's always out of town choking people out.
You know what's funny, guys? I have asked Phil for 3 weeks to get with Steve. And let's get a part 2 on here.
We told him.
And every time it's like, I guess we just got to ask him.
This Thursday, I'll do it.
Well, we can't do it this Thursday.
Exactly.
So, we'd like to get Steve back on here to put some of the bad the scoop
crap.
I
can't wait till he talks about. He's gonna talk about us like our.
Yeah, he talk about me. He's gonna talk about you.
He's gonna talk about both of us.
We'll see. Yep. So, guys, until next time, if you're gonna start a brand, if you're gonna start a podcast, keep these 4 things in mind, because they will help you they'll be kind of your North Star as you start to build this thing up. And pretty soon, social media will be unavoidable, especially if you're a business owner.
And you can reach out to Steve. You're ramping up like all your consulting stuff, and right? It's like you're taking on more consulting clients.
Yeah.
Really got a lot of time for that.
I hired Phil, so I don't have to be on social media, so I don't have to do any of that stuff.
Actually, it'll probably come to me.
We're actually we're looking for a replacement media guy. Feel free. I think Brad Weems is going to move over here from Tennessee.
That's cool. Yeah,
he's been reaching out to you. I think he's just
so long vitality.
Yeah. He's just we're just gonna do a little trade. You go to the old Johnson City.
Oh my gosh.
You'd fit in well there.
I know.
You'd be really good.
Holly. I know.
Oh, hey, let's end this on what'd you get this past weekend?
I got a small motorcycle.
Yep. Now, if you guys would please put in the comments how smart you think it is that Philip is on a motorcycle, that would be, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, because my initial reaction to him getting a motorcycle
was, heck yeah, let's ride.
This is the worst idea you've ever had in your life.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, we'll send a picture. Maybe we'll post a little video or something of us riding this weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
God, we got to get our thing, man.
All right, guys. Until next time, this is the Built by Vitality podcast.